everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how I made this kawaii avocado plushie. So I started off with a sheet of green felt, and what I did was I took a red felt liner and just drew out a rough avocado shape. I made this quite big, just to the size that I wanted the plushie to be. I then cut this out about a centimetre away from the line that I just previously drew, just to allow for some seam allowances, and I just cut this out very loosely. I then placed this down and cut out the exact same shape from a lighter green plush fabric. This plush fabric was actually by Shannon fabrics and one of the smooth cuddle fabrics, I believe it's called, and it's just in the shade light green. This fabric is actually designed to make plushes, and I think it works really well as it's really soft and quite thin. So the next step I moved on to doing was making the avocado pip. So I took a Starbucks cup and drew around this, as this was the right size that I wanted. I then cut around this shape very loosely like the avocado previously, and left a 1 centimetre gap all the way around seam allowances. Next, moving on, I then folded in the edges and just hand sewed it all the way around. I folded them in just to keep on that circle edge and just kept going and kept going. I did this all the way around. If you do this, it doesn't matter if the stitches are seen on the other side, as we will take them out later on. Once this is completely done, you'll then want to check the size and make sure it's exactly how you want it to be. So next I moved on and popped on some toy safety eyes, and I did this by cutting a little hole into the front of the fabric, poking the toy safety eye through and then pushing on a washer. I put 2 eyes on in the places that I wanted them. Once the eyes were fully in place, I then popped the brown pip back onto the avocado, went over to my sewing machine and sewed about 3/4 of the way around, leaving a little gap at the top. It's not very clear here because the light on my sewing machine actually threw off the focus a little bit, but you just want to do a straight stitch all the way around, adjusting as you go. You can also attach this with fabric glue or hand sew it if you don't have a sewing machine. Next, you want to take some stuffing and then stuff inside of the avocado pip. You'll then want to secure up the top, and I did this again on my sewing machine, but you can also hand sew it or glue it if you want to. You'll then want to cut off any excess thread and remove the white thread that you used earlier. Next, you'll want to take your green felt from earlier and you'll want to place these right sides together. You'll then want to sew all the way around the line that you drew earlier, and like I said before, if you don't have a sewing machine you can hand sew it or fabric glue it. Once this is done, you'll then want to remove any excess from that line. Removing the most excess will give you the smoothest of line when you turn it the right way around. You'll then want to snip all the way around the avocado, as there's a lot of curves and creating snips will allow freer flowing fabric. Once snipped all the way around, you'll then want to turn your plushie inside out. Once completely inside out, you'll then want to start stuffing your plushie. It will take quite a lot of stuffing to get it quite fat, but you just want to keep going until you're happy. Once stuffed full, you'll then want to secure up the gap. So I did this by hand sewing, and the way I did it was I inserted the pin into the middle of the hole. What I then did was put one stitch into one side and one stitch into the other, making sure that when I moved upwards, that inner stitch was inside like here. So the stitches that go across like this are straight, and then inside I move up, kind of like a ladder. You only want to make the steps visible and not the sides visible, if that makes any sense. So you just go in and out and pulling tight as you go. To secure it, you'll then want to make a little loop and pop the thread through the loop. If you're not very good at hand sewing, it doesn't matter, as this bit will be covered up later on anyway. Next I moved on and painted on the mouth. I did this with black puffy paint and my dotting tool, and I actually made sure to move my tool in the motion of the fabric. So my fabric was pointing upwards, so I actually only moved my dotting tool pointing upwards. Otherwise it would have ended up like a big fluffy mess, and that's not what we wanted. Next I then took some blush just out from my makeup bag as usual, and with a dense makeup brush I just put this either side of the eyes. To make this stay you could also hairspray this in place, but I'm not really going to be playing with my plushies so it isn't going to come off. Once you're happy with how that looks, you can leave it there, but I'm actually just going to take it one step further and add some more green felt all the way around the outside. So what I did was I took 3 1cm strips of the green felt and I just hot glued it all the way around the edge. This was just to give some more darker green effect to the front of the plush, because when you have it face on, all I could see was the light green and it just needed some more dark green in my opinion to be a bit cuter. This also disguised the sewing up of the hole that I did earlier as well, and also a few little marks that I made with the paint being on my finger and me not realising, so I did actually have a black smudge on it, which I kind of wanted to cover up. Because my strips weren't long enough to go all the way around, I actually did it in 3 stages. I just stuck them on and then just cut them to length before I stuck them down. Once they were all loosely on, I then took my glue gun and popped some more glue in between the felt and the plushy fabric. I then pressed this down to make sure that it was all completely secure all the way around. I wanted to make sure the whole of the strips that I put on were completely stuck down and not just sitting on the edges. I wanted them to be more rounder against the plush to make a more seamless effect. I also did the exact same thing on the back, where I glued the felt strip to the felt to cover up any plush seeping through. Once I was completely done with the hot gluing, my plushie was then complete. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit long, but I really wanted to be able to make it as clear as possible, just in case that you wanted to make it also. So if you have any requests, please leave them down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!